back at it again, and we've got one here with Jesse Lee Peterson, who is always absolutely hilarious. Hey, he shoots it straight, you know, no chaser, okay? And that's what I personally enjoy about Jesse Lee Peterson. He doesn't sugarcoat anything. But before we hop into the video, make sure you guys hit that like button. It really helps out with the YouTube algorithm. I greatly would appreciate you all hitting that like button down below. And make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you're not subscribed already. All right, it's totally free to hit that subscribe button. It costs you nothing but a couple of seconds. All right, just a couple of seconds just to hit that subscribe button. And make sure you guys are following me on social media. Those links are down below in the description box. Okay, and with that being said, let's dive in.
Does white privilege exist?
Absolutely.
It does.
Absolutely.
And where's the proof of that?
All around. You know, I tell people often now, in hindsight, one of the things that I wish I would have been more cognizant of was the white privilege at UCLA that was sitting, you know, right next to me. For Black people, I believe white privilege is something to leverage.
What is it, though? I don't see it anywhere. What is it? What is it?
How don't you
For
not
people
see
like me
privilege?
who don't see it.
How do you not? What?
She said, she started stuttering. Huh? Ooh, hold on. He black and he saying that? Wait a second.
What is it, though? I don't see it anywhere. What is it?
Huh?
What is it?
How don't you
For
not
people
see
like
white
me who
privilege?
don't see it.
How do you not? How do you not see white privilege?
Because it doesn't exist. That's
Yes,
what
it does.
So what is it exactly?
Things, I believe white privilege is just the ability just to be free and white and not have the same type of social, economic, and social ills as Black people have to deal with. I mean, there's no white racial profiling. White people don't get pulled over by the cops just because they're white. They have the ability to, you know, show emotion and love to their sons without being emasculated. There's all kinds of examples
That's
of
amazing
white privilege.
that you believe
Absolutely. Why don't you Black? How come you don't believe white privilege exists? What you see?
Oh, there you go. There you go. There you go. You black, so you supposed to agree with me. Goodness gracious. Oh, man.
Well, because I you know, I am Black in color, but I don't have that dark mentality that most Black people have.
Clearly.
I see, she said clearly, I see that white people have the same struggles and things that we have in that
What type of
they have
struggles
to
do they
make their
have?
marriages work. They have to make their children, help their kids grow up in the right way so that they can earn a living and be independent.
But they also have the majority of
They
their
make
fathers
kids-
at home.
Right,
We don't
and the
have-
reason
And is that the white person's fault? No. No. It's not the white person's fault that Black families are broken up. Like, and this is the disgusting thing about, you know, a lot of this. Pointing the finger at everybody else except for yourself. You're never gonna get anywhere in life by blaming everybody else and not looking at your, see, I almost cursed, and not looking at yourself, okay? That has to end. That needs to end immediately. And then people wonder why, you know, the same thing is still going on. Because you're still pointing the finger at everybody else and you're not looking at yourself. You haven't fixed the issue. Goodness gracious. I just...
so that they can earn a living and be independent.
But they also have the majority of
They
their
make
fathers
kids-
at home.
Right,
We don't
and the
have-
reason for that, it's starting to change somewhat now, but the reason for that is because they are taking responsibility for that, whereas Black men and women are not taking responsibility for that,
Bingo.
as they did prior to the Civil Rights Movement.
What does a white person have to do with two Black people having a kid and the Black dad not being in the home? What does a white person have to do with that? Like, how delusional do you have to be to even make a statement like that? You know, like you could have a dislike for white people, but still understand that it's not their fault. Like, that doesn't even make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway.
Black people are blaming it on their lack of self-control and self-containment. they're blaming it on white people while white people are working hard to keep it going.
I do
for
believe
themselves.
that there is a need for black people to be held more accountable.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that doesn't excuse racism, that doesn't excuse institutionalized racism, that doesn't excuse.
What does that have to do with the black father not being in the home?
But there's no
that-
such thing
yes,
as that.
yes,
It's an
it is.
illusion
She's making
made
no
up by
sense.
black people and their leaders.
No, it's not. It exists.
Well,
Sorry.
where's the proof of it, though?
What do you mean, where's the proof of it?
There are many kids who are getting into, black kids who are allowed to get into these universities around the country, right, based on affirmative action. And because of affirmative action based on their color. That's discrimination based on color, and that's wrong. And these kids are getting in, but they're not earning their way. So when they fail, they feel less than before they were allowed to get in based on color.
I'm a proud
I think Larry Elder made that same statement because or maybe it was Thomas Sowell. Like, you're forcing kids into an institution that they didn't earn their way into. So they're getting into these institutions amongst people with much higher IQs than their own, and they fail. Not because they aren't smart, but because they weren't put into the right institution.
product of affirmative action. When I went to UCLA, it was because I was an affirmative action student.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And I think I turned out fantastic.
No, that's a lie.
So a lot of my peers who were having
With these same statements, with these same old statements, don't institutionalize racism. Tell me the law. Show me the law that says black people cannot do what white people can do. Show me the law. Show it to me, and show me the institution, or show me the job occupation that isn't hiring people simply because of the color of their skin. Let me know, because I'm going to apply tomorrow. Matter of fact, I'm going today. F that. I'm on the way right now. If I can do it online, I'm going to do it online. Tell me the place that doesn't hire black people simply because of the color of their skin. I'm going to apply, and as soon as they deny me because of the color of my skin, I'm getting a check. Fact is, it doesn't exist. It's illegal. You can't do that.
challenges getting into some of these predominantly white institutions, the affirmative action was great. My father went to Harvard. You know, he was one of very few blacks.
Was he affirmative action person?
I don't know if he was. That was back in the late 60s.
Well, then he wasn't. He
Okay.
earned his way.
So, that being said, I still believe that affirmative action helped me get into UCLA, and it gave me access.
You would
and
not have
exposure.
gotten in there on your own because you were not smart enough?
I don't know if I wasn't smart enough, but based on the curve and what I was competing with you know, other individuals who had different educational opportunities and teachers. I mean, I'm coming from, you know, the LA Unified School District. I mean, so at the time, I think LAUSD was still pretty good. But I went to all white schools from high school up
So you
through
got
college.
a good education. Why couldn't you get into the school based on your own talent?
Bingo!
I don't know.
Bingo! I'm so happy he exposed the crap. So happy he exposed the crap. Oh, I went to a predominantly white school. She thought she had one with that one. Oh, well, you went to a predominantly white school. Why couldn't you earn your way? You apparently, because you say white people have it better, you were with them. You should have had a great education too. Why'd you need affirmative action to get in then? Oh, well, I'll be darned. Isn't it amazing how it all just slowly comes to the light? The more they talk, the more they expose themselves. Oh, man. And then she brought up, and I had a YouTube short that I dropped about what she kind of touched on there as well. She tried to, for a second, she tried to bring up, you know, starting from different places in life, you know, financially. You know, we all come from different families. Some of our families were, you know, broke as ever, you know, no money, barely any money to keep a roof over your head and food on the table. Some people come from very rich, affluent families that, you know, had the ability to pay for tutors and all of this other stuff, yada, yada, yada. Well, Mike Rashid, what I think he was getting at in the YouTube short, if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. It's on the channel. I think I dropped it like 2 days ago. So just scroll back a little bit. But, you know, he was talking about how that's an advantage, you know, starting from what's perceived to be as behind. And what I think he meant by that is you develop that work ethic. You develop that hard work. I think a lot of people know, I won't say all of us, but, you know, I'm sure quite a few of us know someone who came from a family that was well off, but because they came from that family that was well off, they were as lazy as ever. They had zero work ethic. So if their family unfortunately lost their fortunes, they're up Poops Creek without a paddle. But the guy or the gal that had to scrap and claw to make their way, they've developed that work ethic. They have that grit, that fire, and that passion, you know what I mean, within them. So when they go back to compete with that same person that came from a well-off family, but now has to compete against the person who didn't, the person who has the work ethic is going to win 10 times out of 10 because the other person never developed that because they never had to. That's what I think Mike Rashid was kind of getting at in that YouTube short, because at least on TikTok, some of the folks were saying, well, that's not an advantage, that's stupid, and like, you know, of course, you know, anyway.
Maybe because I didn't have some of the opportunity.
But you had the opportunity.
Oh, no, well, first of all,
you had the same
SAT,
opportunity those white kids were having.
Not necessarily. I had different teachers. I had different
resources. So you
resources.
went to a white integrated school.
I'm talking about going into these other, into UCLA.
Here she go.
Still had to be able to deal with some of the issues and going to predominantly white schoods.
Like
but
what?
I still had to be able to compete.
Like what?
What do you mean, like what?
Some of the issues going to a predominantly
I would graduate from University High School, and at the time they didn't have an African American student union. An
African American student union?
Mm-hmm, at the school.
What does that have to do with your education?
Good thing.
They didn't have one.
That's a good thing.
Why?
Why do you need something like that?
But they have Asian student unions. They have Jewish student unions. They have all kind of different.
Did they have white student union?
They need student union. They own the whole school. So
but the kids didn't own the school. The kids didn't.
But I'm saying there's nothing. I don't think there's nothing wrong with having a segregated.
I'm sorry I keep pausing this, but this is just like the most annoying thing ever to me right now. There's an excuse. She has an excuse for everything. Everything. Oh, we didn't have a student union. Oh, I didn't have the same teachers. Oh, I went to a predominantly white school. Oh, I benefited from, you know, well, I didn't. Like, it's like, come on, man. Like,
you know, population of students who just want to study together or work together or to be able to.
Would you be in support of a white student union?
Yeah, of course.
It would be okay with you?
Yeah, why not?
But most blacks don't feel that way.
I think all cultures should be able to segregate and to be able to work within their cultures and network within their own cultures. Absolutely.
Does racism exist?
I believe racism does exist.
And where's the proof of that?
You just see it all over in the country. We're proof of it. In terms
What
of just
what do I see?
Disproportionate in the economics with black people.
But that has nothing to do with racism.
It does. Racism is about power. It's about who's in control. And black people can't be racist because we're not in control. We're not in control of the educational system, some of the social organizations and things that run this country. We're not in control. Racism is about power.
But you would be in control of your own life if you had good parents, if they taught you how to be independent, if they taught you how to build, how to take care of. I've noticed that the reason I left where I lived over there in the Crenshaw district is that once the white people left, because once I moved there, when I first moved there, it was mostly whites. But once they left, as they did in Gary, Indiana, and other places, the blacks turned it into a ghetto. A beautiful area went to hell in a handbasket, so I got out. But if blacks had more character and they were taking care of themselves and being responsible and buying land and teaching their children,
that has to be taught.
Then right, so that has nothing to do with racism.
But that has to, of course, that has to be taught.
So it's not racism.
And who do you think taught the other people that, you know, are buying land? Their parents. So is the white man at fault for that too? I bet she'd say yes. Goodness gracious.
It's not white people's fault that you're not teaching your children to do that.
No, but it's not. If the parents don't know.
They
If
don't
the parents,
know.
if so-
But
if
that's
the-
not
if the
white
parents
people's
don't
fault,
know, but if they go into some of these institutions, these predominantly white institutions, they are targeted. They don't have the same opportunities because of their color.
Goodness gracious, here she
It's
goes.
true. I mean,
So then why go in there then? Why not go to all black school if you
some
feel
people do
that?
choose to do that.
I'm sorry?
Some people do choose. That's
But
why
why
they.
you see a lot of these black kids going to these white universities, and then they force their way in by saying, I need affirmative action. Once they get in, now they crying racism. Why do you want to force your way in with the people you think are your enemies, and you're still complaining once you get there?
I don't think people
good
are
point.
forcing their way. I don't. Does
They are.
affirmative action even
Affirmative action
exist?
is forced based on color.
Does affirmative action even exist? Are people getting in based on affirmative action?
Yes.
Today,
Otherwise, they wouldn't be there.
The way Trump has it down, he's just leveled the playing field. So it is going to have to be more about being able to be competitive.
Yo, this was just like the worst interview to watch ever, and it's not because of Jesse Lee Peterson. Okay, you know, I rock with Jesse Lee Peterson 100%. It's the chick. Like, holy cow, how many excuses could you possibly even come up with? No, I didn't see her point the finger at herself, not a single time during that little short clip. Not a single time. It was always, not one finger said, yeah, that was on me. Not one time. Not one time. Oh, man. Oh, man. Help us, please. Help us, please, you know. Help us, because if we have too many people that think like her, we are in a world of trouble. I mean, there's already probably too many people that think like her. If we just being honest. If we have any more, though, it might spell the end of humanity for us. I mean, goodness gracious. What in the actual... I really don't even know what to say about that anymore. Just absolutely disgusting and ridiculous. I pretty much said everything I needed to say. What did y'all think about it? Have y'all come across anybody like this before? Let me know in the comment section below. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.